Good morning, Scott here, known as Cantaloupe to some online, and I'm bringing another video to you on a subject that's interesting to me. It might be of interest to you or someone you know. And I want to talk about vaccination. This has been in the news quite a bit and in current discussion on social media, etc. Lots of people with different opinions and feelings about it. There's people who are against it, people saying that it does things to people, it causes autism. And I'm not even going to touch the autism or other side effect part because I don't need to actually. There's a bigger answer to this question because there's a bigger problem, right? And it is kind of a simple problem when you break it down, like many problems. This one has a root argument that a lot of people are failing to understand or discuss. So I want to talk about that just for a second. Vaccination. Now, for clarity, I want to describe what I'm talking about specifically. Vaccination is the organized inoculation of people for the purpose of obtaining a critical mass of herd immunity. And I'm sure everybody can agree with this definition. I'm not trying to be sideways with this. A critical mass of herd immunity. And it is proven, medically proven to be effective. But this is not a vote of, for vaccination necessarily. I want to discuss the facts, the actual facts. And there's something, like I said, people are overlooking and misrepresenting. Here's the problem. As a medical solution, vaccination falls under the classification of advanced technology. Understand what this does specifically. Just like all advanced medical technology, there's a trade-off. You're going to have a predictable trade-off where you're helping individuals and individual current communities at the cost of long-term species health. What you're doing with advanced medical technology, whether it's vaccinations or any kind of technology, is you're preventing the herd from thinning. Okay. Now, it's a complex idea because it involves time. It involves more than one generation. It involves something that you might have heard about called evolution. It's something that you may not be familiar with or appreciate because it doesn't happen within the space of one lifetime. It happens over the course of perhaps hundreds or thousands of years, if not millions of years. Now, what happens when you empower and enable bad genes, vulnerabilities, allergies, weakened immune systems, weakened physiology? We actually know there's an answer to this. There's a very provable, measurable answer, and that is the species can go extinct. Okay, and I'm not suggesting we start throwing people under the bus. What I'm suggesting is we start with the facts, we start with reality, an actual scientific objective assessment of the situation. And what that means is that there's a bare minimum that humans need to abide by just to call themselves humans. There's a bare minimum, merciful, civilized treatment of your fellow neighbors and family members that is acceptable under a humane doctrine or policy. Okay, we'll start with that. There is something that you have to do medically, if it's available, just to prevent the unnecessary suffering and deterioration of individuals. Okay, so that's point one. Point two is you have to, at some point, consider the long-term cost and effect of your medical technology on the species. This is point two. Okay, so you have to balance these. It's about balance. It's about agreement. It's about doing what's prudent now, but not just now, but for tomorrow as well. It's about doing the right thing, not just for today because someone's uncomfortable, at the cost of 2 meals tomorrow, so to speak, but doing the right thing in a way that is sustainable for your kids, for the next generation, and indefinitely. We're not trying to go extinct. We're not trying to have tons and tons of terrible genes that screw up the entire species, and that's pretty much where we're at right now. We are in an emergency situation with our collective human health. Okay, and it's as a result directly of things like penicillin, things like vaccination, as a result of all the medical technology that you take for granted and assume should be just rolled out in mass, the more the better. It doesn't work that way. There's a long-term cost that you're not aware of because you can't see it. And just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not real. That's where we're at. We need balance. We need mercy. We need prudence and judgment and actual intelligence, okay? Not just something that's comfortable. Not just something that, because you can afford it, we're just going to do it because. There's a bigger issue. Start with the facts, open a debate, decide in a community, per community, what's proper. One community doesn't equal another community. As far as resources, accessibility, health, average genetics, all of these things are relevant. You can't just say one solution fits the whole planet. You cannot say that. One human being does not equal another human being necessarily. In a medical sense, they do not. So start the debate. Like I said, start the debate on a per community basis. If it has to be democratic, so be it. But I think that there's a better solution, honestly. I think that having some kind of wisdom and intelligent direction, some kind of competent leadership, and someone who cares about the people enough to find that balance that is suitable per community is the only answer forward. Reach out if you like with questions or comments to whitehotrobot@gmail.com. Thank you.